Welcome to the Overrated Experience Sports and Sports Betting Podcast. I'm your host, Kyle Blind, and we're back for another week of betting action, weekend, betting bonanza. Hopefully your bankrolls are doing okay this Saturday afternoon. College football in full swing. The 12 o'clock games are behind us. And then we're on to the 3:30 games, 4 o'clock kickoffs, and then the 7:30. We've got some NHL afternoon action, late evening action coming up as well. No Leafs tonight, though. They take a rare Saturday off. We'll play Sunday tomorrow. And we got some MLS playoff action, 2 games there. And we missed, I guess, a UFC fight night was in Macau, China, so it already took place. Peter Yan winning the main event. What else is happening here? So we head in to the weekend. The main focus, of course, is going to be the NFL. Week 12, this season is rushing by so goddamn fast, it's hard to believe. And not looking forward to the winter when football's gone. Like, this 5 o'clock getting dark shit is getting old, and they got to kill this whole put the clocks back, jump forward, and daylight savings. It is not working. We need to max out our light. We need that vitamin D, and we need to keep going here because it's very depressing, too long, especially sitting here in Toronto, in Canada, where winter is a big part of our lives. So officially, it sucks. It sucks. It sucks. It sucks. Just on the background here in the bullpen, got the Colorado Buffaloes looking to keep their momentum going to potentially hit the college football playoff. They're down 10-0 to Kansas. They're playing at Arrowhead, actually, because Kansas having renovations on the stadium that they normally play at, so it's pretty cool. You're playing on the full field of the Super Bowl champions. Colorado is moving the ball 40-yard line now. One of the big stories that does impact the NFL and sports in general is about Deion Sanders' prime time. Comes to Colorado, and in 2 years, they're a must-watch team. You know, if you look at Colorado, the program, it's apparently got higher attendance, higher enrollment in the school, people coming in on game days. Things are going on in Colorado. It's prime time. And the question is he going to stick around in Colorado? Is he going to sign an extension? Is he going to move to another college program, like let's say Florida State, who might be very desperate right now to make an impact for their program? Or does he make a jump to the NFL? And I am one to look at Deion Sanders as, you know, college football is built on personality, head coaches, and I think he is just the current version of a big-time head coach in college football that knows how to use the NIL, knows how to, you know, talk a big game, and he's done a good job. So, like, he's definitely in demand, and he's built this program under a 2024 way of building a football program there in Colorado. And I wouldn't, if I were him, and I don't think he would, is commit to anything until you have to. I have a feeling that Deion Sanders' prime time is more than okay with sitting back and waiting for a desperate Florida State, desperate Jerry Jones and the Cowboys to call him up and say, hey, I will give you this. Here is a blank check. Here is a blank check when it comes to power within an organization. He has all the cards. He has all the cards. So prime time is going to be either staying in Colorado, making a massive move within the college ranks or the NFL, but he's going to get paid. And then he's going to get paid what he feels he's worth, and all power to him. He's got the leverage. Deion has got the upper hand here. Prime time is going to cash in. So we'll see how that works. Other NFL news, we have Daniel Jones, New York Giants quarterback, or was quarterback, has been released the other day based what sounds like his own request as he was moved down the depth chart to, I believe, number 4. And DiNucci is going to be starting this weekend for the Giants. Interesting. I mean, I don't know by asking for his release what exactly impacts his contract. So if I were Daniel Jones, if there was one penny being lost because of the move to waive Daniel Jones and get his release to sign somewhere else, I would have been happy sitting there playing on, whatever reports he was playing safety with like the backups and the scout team. I would be collecting that paycheck because my hopes to be getting a starter in the NFL, probably not high. But then again, who knows with the lack of depth in the NFL and desperation of teams when the quarterback does go down. So he's gambling, but if he is collecting and does get picked up somewhere else, but he still does not lose a penny of what he's supposed to earn this year, then all power to him. But if he did get a hit on this contract, then you got to check his head. Take him to the blue tent because he has to be concussed if he made that decision all by himself. Daniel Jones gone in New York. The era is over. Giants are probably in a situation where they need to tear it down and kind of move forward. They're going to have a high pick this year and probably a quarterback. They're going to start over again. We'll see what happens there. In the other team in New York Jets, apparently Aaron Rodgers of the New York Jets says, again, this is all rumor and X, whatever, you take it for what it is, that he still wants to play in 2025, but not for the New York Jets. Well, I got something for you, Aaron. I'm pretty sure that the Jets don't want you either. So it's not like it's both parties here. One is desperate to keep one and one is desperate to leave. This is a situation where the Jets, if they're, I'm going to give them credit. If they're smart, which as a franchise, I think they've proven over and over that they're not, they need to look at a different direction. Obviously it's more, their issues lie more than what we see on the field every Sunday. No matter what version of this team they put together, it just seems that they get in their own way, whether it be coaching decisions, maybe a coaching decision of firing Robert Saleh too early, but previous coaching decisions that don't make sense. It sounds like it's a toxic environment. Reports that, after week 4 or something like that Woody Johnson, owner of the Jets, wanted Tyrod Taylor to start. Are you a complete moron? Stick to the cocktail parties. Stick to the ambassadorship. That's your field of expertise. Beyond me, of course, but apparently running a football organization and making football personnel moves, probably not your forte. Stay put, stay in the press box, and don't pick up that phone. So it's ugly in New York, both situations, Giants and Jets, as we move into week 12 of the NFL, and that's what we're going to do here. Some interesting matchups, playoff implications, some not so playoff implications. It seems like 20 teams have got nothing going on and their season's like toast. Doesn't it feel that way? Doesn't it feel that the majority of NFL teams are out? The Bengals were hanging on, and then they have that miraculous comeback last week against the Chargers last Sunday night, and then piss away 2 field goal opportunities. In addition, by the way, all these people crying on behalf of Joe Burrow, you can't take away the effort and his contribution to that comeback, but he missed some key throws late in that game for first downs that could have put the clock totally in their control, leaving it up to a last-minute field goal, basically missing or go to overtime. He failed. So I don't want to hear this shit that it was all just the kicking. Kicking was no good, no question about it. But it was not just the kicking. There was opportunities missed, and they were missed by Joe Burrow, not taken away from how he performed to get that team back on track. But Joe Burrow is just as much to blame for that loss as anybody else. Going on to week 12, we got an interesting matchup here in Chicago. It's in Minnesota. It's in Minnesota. Holy shit. I got that switched around here. Holy shit. What's going on tonight? Let's take a look at the Vikings. Yeah, Vikings on the road in Chicago. And the Vikings are 3.5-point favorites. This is a back-to-back road game for the Minnesota Vikings. Jackson. The hell they have last? They had Carolina. No, they had Tennessee last week. Squeaked out a win. Now I'm looking at this team. I think the Minnesota Vikings are hanging on. They're winning. Like it feels like they're hanging on. Sam Darnold, is he going to hit his expiry date? Is he starting to get exposed that this is still Sam Darnold? You know what I mean? The guy who couldn't stick it with the New York Jets, the Carolina Panthers, and maybe found his place as a backup with the 49ers. I don't know. I think the Minnesota Vikings are absolutely not in a situation where they feel going into next season they necessarily have a quarterback controversy. I think they're full ahead with their rookie first-round pick. But Sam Darnold's got a foot situation, so he's a little hobbled but will play, but he might not be 100%. 3.5 from the Bears. The Bears, man, their offense. I'm gonna be hypocritical, very hypocritical here, because I'm going to talk about the Bears offense struggling to put up points. And I'm going to take the Vikings to cover the 3.5 on FanDuel. And by the way, such a bad week last week. My bankroll's down to one provider at this point, and that is FanDuel. So that's why you're going to only hear FanDuel. Usually I like to look at DraftKings, FanDuel, and maybe a third option. But guess what? Sometimes you have a bad week and you reload and you get back on the horse and you get at it. And that's what I got to do here this weekend. So Minnesota cover the 3.5. I think they squeak it out, but I still like the player prop. I'm going to throw it in here as Caleb Williams, struggling first overall pick. When I looked at it a few days ago, his passing yards were 201.5, down to 200.5 yards. I have to envision that the Bears are going to be playing from behind, and he's got to put the ball in the air, and he's going to have a few big plays. He's got to start improving at some point, right? So, and when I look at the Vikings giving up 295 yards to Will Levis last week, I have no confidence that, they're going to completely shut down Caleb Williams. So I like that over 200.5 passing yards. Keep that in mind. So moving on, Tampa Bay into New York to face Danucci. Hey, it's going on. Hey, Baker Mayfield, take on Danucci. Minus 5.5. The Buccaneers look like they might have Mike Evans back, which is a big gain for their offense. Little erratic. I mean, the Buccaneers have played kind of a run and gun offense where put up some big passing yards, touchdowns, but also coughing the ball up, turning it over. However, Danucci came in and, knocked off the Packers last year at home, crushing some of these folks in survivor pools. Does he have the magic again? I don't think he does. I think there's enough film on Danucci where the Buccaneers get it done, they walk away. So let's take the Buccaneers 5.5, win it outright, cover the 5.5 spread. Interesting matchup in Miami. The New England Patriots head into Miami to take on the Dolphins. The Dolphins are 7.5-point favorites. This was up from 7 a little earlier. Money going to the Dolphins side. The over-under is 46.5. And Drake Mayo is not bad, man. He got some up-and-coming promise there for the New England Patriots, and he's slinging the ball around pretty good. The Dolphins at home, 7.5, huh? This should be Dolphins all day. This should be Dolphins by 20. They should light the Patriots up in the heat in Miami. They should. I'm going to take the Dolphins at 7.5. But I'm going to be very cautious because somehow I see like the Patriots keeping this close as a divisional matchup. I reluctantly take the Dolphins. I'm going to follow the money. Even though the spread went up. I think they win it eventually comfortably by 10 or so. So give me the Dolphins. I'll take my risk there. Tennessee heading into Houston to take on the Texans. And some news here. Calvin Ridley for the Titans is out, and he started to turn it on. 7.5-point favorites are the Texans, coming off a big win in Dallas. However, not very impressive. I wouldn't say that the Houston offense is rolling. I think C.J. Stroud is trying to get out of whatever funk he is in. A lot of their offense has been generated by Joel Mixon on the ground. He's had an absolute stud of a year here. Tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. So 7.5. like the Titans showed some life. Levis put the ball in the air against the Vikings, but on the road in Houston, again, a tough divisional decision here. I'm going to still take the Texans at -7.5. I just can't trust Will Levis. Will Levi Jeans. Zip it up. Now we got maybe the mismatch of a lifetime here. The Kansas City Chiefs travel to Carolina to take on the Panthers. Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers. What do we do here? There's games where you look at, chalk up a win for Kansas City, exactly what they needed coming off that loss in Buffalo to knock off their perfect season. I can't see a scenario. This is like an Avengers scenario where you have Doctor Strange, going through that meditation, finding a way, how can they take out Thanos? There's playing out all the scenarios. Is there a scenario to come back with, like that, so that you could find the Panthers pulling off an upset here? I don't think Doctor Strange is coming back with much here. I think the world's over if it was in the hands of the Carolina Panthers. I don't see a scenario that we could work out here where the Carolina Panthers at home knock off the Kansas City Chiefs. But the question is, can the Kansas City Chiefs cover that 10.5, which seems low, but then again, the Kansas City Chief offense has not been lights out, but will it be lights out today? Yeah, I'm doing it. I'm taking the Chiefs. 10.5, and that's probably because I don't see the Carolina Panthers scoring or doing much against that Kansas City defense. So trust the champs, trust them to rebound, and trust them to cover. Let's see. Dallas and Washington. 10.5 points are the Commanders. Let's just validate that. I want to make sure that line is good. I got a lot to say about this one. 10.5 is still what it is here today. Now, what is interesting about this is if you really analyze how these teams are going, we know the Dallas Cowboys are in the absolute shitter. They're, reflecting on, I don't know if Jerry Jones is reflecting at this point. He should be reflecting at this point where this organization is, what decisions led him up to this poor season that this will turn into. But you have to, at some point, chart the course for the future. So I got to assume, he's looking forward and not thinking that he's got that team to contend. But on the other side, and the Commanders are the stock is up as far as the franchise goes, and that is because they have Jaden Daniels, young quarterback, bright future. But what I'll tell you here though is that if you've watched the Commanders over the last few weeks, Jaden Daniels is, I think, stock a little down right now. I don't think he's as on fire as he was earlier in the season. And I think this line is predicated on what we've seen in the early portion of the season from the Commanders' offense. I don't think it reflects accurately on the way they're playing now. They're not as explosive. And the Dallas Cowboys can hang in there. Cooper Rush, CeeDee Lamb's hobbling. I don't know if he's going to play, but tough divisional matchup. I'm not comfortable. With the Commanders having a 10.5 point spread. They're not ready for that. I got to believe the Cowboys do something to make this somewhat competitive heading into Thursday, where they got the Giants in the Thursday Thanksgiving games, which, holy shit, let's go. Thursday beers, Thursday football, let's go. So Dallas, Washington. I'm going to take the surprise here. I'm going to go with the crazy side. I'm going to take the Cowboys, America's team, plus 10.5. Cooper Rush, don't let me down now. Big matchup now, Detroit into Indy. Another dome game for the Detroit Lions. One of many that they're going to be playing this year and have already played. They are 7.5 points over the Colts. The Colts with a big win over the Jets. Richardson back in at quarterback. Very run-heavy, goal line, tough to stop. 7.5 points, the Detroit Lions. Let's just face it. The Detroit Lions, outside of Kansas City, to me, are the best team in football. Hands down. They have that killer approach. They will step on your throat, whether it be the first quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, up 40-0, down 40-0. Dan Campbell's got this team expecting blood, expecting to destroy anything in their way. And that's where I think the Colts are going to be. I'm going to believe that the Lions are going to run this up, and they're going to put some points on the board and win this by 15, 16 points. So I'll take the spread at 7.5. Many big spreads this week, by the way. Shows you the shit that we have to watch in some of these teams. Speaking of shit, the Vegas Raiders host the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos have hope. They're sitting in a wild card spot as we speak. Bo Nix seems to be on the rise. Sean Payton has that Denver Bronco program. Seems to be trending in the right way, and that's why you bring in a Sean Payton to lead and give control to your franchise in hopes he can do what he did in New Orleans, and that is give you a chance to win going year after year, and also developing a quarterback like Bo Nix. If you watch Bo Nix earlier in the year, he was a little happy feet, really not planting on some easy throws he was missing, but he's a gamer. He wants to win, so I don't see much in the way of a fight here by the Vegas Raiders. They probably are a team that's going to clear house. My understanding that Mark Davis is selling 15% of this Raider team to a couple folks. He already has 10% to a group with Tom Brady. And Richard Seymour, I didn't know that, is as well a former Patriot as well, and Raider, actually. So as an NFL owner, let's think about this. Most of these guys, not all, have picked this team up either by inheritance, like Mark Davis, or years ago, before they were multi-billion-dollar teams. I'm trying to think what the bad idea is for somebody to sell up to 49% of their franchise, where you basically get well more. I don't know if that's fucking English. Sorry, guys. You get well worth the money in your pocket that probably quadruples what you paid for the franchise and still retain controlling interest. You're going to see a lot more teams do this. You're going to see chunks of ownership versus one-and-done owners. And I think you're starting to see a lot more of that. Consortiums. The NFL will become more flexible on their ownership structures. They have to open the pool of money so that it is absolutely, these franchise values continue to skyrocket. You can't close the door on the majority of people in the world that can't afford on their own these franchises. So you'll see a lot more creativity from NFL owners. But that is off the field. On the field, Vegas, no creativity. They are lost. They are, Davante Adams is out. Questions of, character in the locker room. Some coaching decisions on the field by Antonio Pierce about strategy and how to handle, game-to-game decisions. Got to believe that somebody's going to step in for Mark Davis, clear house here, and try to start a program where this team starts moving forward, because right now they're in a bad position. They are 5.5-point underdogs to the Broncos. It was 6.5. Not seeing why that we have any change and why it would go down in favor or money going on the Vegas Raiders. But give me the Broncos at 5.5. I think they'll stay on the roll, and I don't think the Vegas Raiders will do much against that Denver D. Probably the game of the 4 o'clock hour. Maybe. You can debate now, I guess, if that's the case or not. But what we got here is the San Francisco 49ers hobble into Green Bay. And yeah, the 49ers are on the edge of having a playoff season or not. This gone south on them. They got a break, Christian McCaffrey returning. But right now they're going to be without Brock Purdy at quarterback. Brandon Allen is going to start. Really nothing special there. You have, obviously, Brandon Ayuk's gone for the year. You got Trent Williams doesn't look like he's going to play. Nick Bosa is not going to play. They are seriously hobbled. And this line went from 3 in favor of the Packers to 5.5. I don't even know if that's enough. So if you like the 49ers, I would sit a little bit, because I got to believe there's going to be more money on the Packers coming. Probably once, we talk about Trent Williams confirmed if he's not playing. That's a big loss in the O-line. They just got nothing going offensively, and Brandon Allen's not that guy. Not the guy. Not the guy at all. If the Jets release Aaron Rodgers, does he potentially end the year in San Francisco if Brock Purdy has a shoulder situation that they can't rely on him for the rest of the year? That'd be wild, right? He was the team that the 49ers had the first overall pick, decided to go with Alex Jones. Fuck, not that. Oh, my God. I have to come back to it. My God. San Francisco quarterback, Kansas City quarterback, horrific leg broken, whatever. Just you got to take him first overall. And Aaron Rodgers, man, what a blank that was on me. I had a glitch. You could see the clocking, like the computer clocking, that he slid all the way to the Green Bay Packers. It'd be ironic if he went to the Packers or the 49ers to end the season if that's somehow worked out. And how the world turns, right? Aaron Rodgers, for the give or take a few teams, 32 teams would love to have in his prime Aaron Rodgers. One of the best quarterbacks, best arms I've seen in my lifetime. And now where are we at, Aaron? Where are we at? You want to play in 2025. The Jets who wine and dined you are no longer whining and dining. They're just whining and have no problem seeing you exit. Nobody's flying to your home to beg you to come and play for the Jets anymore. But your career is at a point where you may find a couple suitors, somewhere else, at the end of the year, when teams reflect that maybe I just need that quarterback like an Aaron Rodgers because I have a stacked roster and I have a developing young quarterback, and let's squeeze out one more year of Aaron Rodgers. That could be something like the Vikings. The Vikings, I can see potentially being that team going into next year. They pick up an Aaron Rodgers. And how weird would that be that Aaron Rodgers, if that was to play out, follow the same career path as Brett Favre, going from Green Bay to New York and then to Minnesota? That'd be wild. We'll see how it plays out. But I got to believe Aaron's going to be somewhere next year. But the Packers, Kyle Shanahan, this is where your coaching genius comes out. But I think the question is, can the 49ers cover or not cover? Got to believe the Packers get the job done here. And I'm gonna stick with the Packers on this one. 5.5. I just don't see the 49ers moving the ball with Brandon Allen. These guys are rarely do we get a surprise that there's a resurgence from a backup quarterback that maybe one-off games here or there, but actually having a complete career turnaround. It's happened. I'm sure it happened. I can't even think of one right now, but it's happened. Now we got an interesting, this might be the game of the 4 o'clock hour, and that is the Arizona Cardinals take on the Seattle Seahawks. This division is tight. It's very tight. It's a very tight position, very tight division. When I say tight, I mean tight. It's very tight. And it's a 1.5 point spread in favor of the Cardinals in Seattle. What do we got here? Kyler Murray's really doing well. I can't disagree. Geno Smith had a great game against the 49ers, but they're a yo-yo, man. I don't know what version of the Seahawks we're going to get. They have not been impressive at home, I'll tell you that. The games that they've been impressive on, to me, at least this year, have been on the road. Even that loss in Detroit was impressive. They were moving the ball. And obviously last week, where Geno Smith had a last-minute drive for the win. Kudos to him. But don't know what we got here. It's a really good game, man. This division is so goddamn tight that these teams might play tight. I don't know. I'm going to take... Boy, this is tough. Man, this is like one of those you coin flip. Maybe ask some stranger walking by which side they're going to take, so that way, if you're on the wrong side, you got somebody to blame. Done that before, done that many times, and it's helped me in my conscience that it wasn't my fault. But I'm going to go with the Seahawks. I don't know why I want to do Arizona, but I'm going to go with the Seahawks. Give me a 1.5 at home. I think they'll get the job done and win by a field goal. We got the Sunday nighter, the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the LA Rams. Again, the LA Rams playing a very tight division, and they are definitely interested in the outcomes of that 49ers game and the Arizona-Seattle game. And they go and host the Philadelphia Eagles, so they'll know where they sit at that point by the time 8:20 kickoff happens. The Eagles are 2.5-point favorites. Again, I don't know exactly what the Rams are. I think Puka is hurt. I don't know if he's hurt or not, but they're up and down. They yo-yo, right? They don't have, they didn't play well against the Miami Dolphins at home. Really it wasn't really impressive there. And the Eagles come to town. Saquon Barkley, guy's been on fire. He's been on fire. I mean, he's been the guy with the offense. But obviously Jalen Hurts is the main cog in the offense. I don't care what your receiver does. I don't care what your running back does. It comes down to your quarterback. I think the Eagles are going to get the job done here, and I think they're going to put the Rams on a serious threat to, miss out in the playoffs. So give me the Philadelphia Eagles. Just watching the Colorado Buffaloes. Oh, big hit to Sanders. Oh, that's not good for a guy who could be a top 5 NFL pick. Gets his knees taken out. Not good. So now I'm all over the place here. So taking the Philadelphia Eagles Sunday night. And going on to the Monday recovery. What would you call the Monday night? Let's call it the Get Better Monday, or just go all in Monday, Regret Sunday Monday. Big catch here in the Buffalo game here, or the Colorado Buffaloes trying to get back on the board down 20-7. This is going to be crushing to their college playoff hopes. And by the way, brilliant by the NCAA. You can't say that a lot, by having the 12-team playoff format, which, you have a risk that it could have diluted the regular season. I don't think it's done that. I think it's put a lot more teams on the bubble and made a lot more of these games at this time of year a lot more important. Fantastic idea. And if you haven't caught up with it, it's going to kick off in a couple weeks. Actually, when's that kick off? Like the national... let's ask Grok. Have you ever gone Grok? Have you go on X? If you got the premium package, you have... Let's ask Grok. When does the NCAA football playoffs begin? Let's see. Grok. 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 The NCAA football playoff for the 2024-25 season begins with the first round of games on December 20th and 21st. That is absolutely outstanding. That we got some overlap between late NFL playoff action and the college football playoffs. Outstanding, man. You got 8 teams that are going to get a... You got... there's teams that get a bye. 4 teams that get a bye, I think. Yeah, 4 teams get a bye. Great format. Just amazing. Just outstanding idea. And just crushing it. On the other hand, if you're a soccer fan, I don't know if I'm digging the Champions League format. Man, I don't know. I don't know if they've ruined the Champions League for me. I mean, this whole, move away from your group play to have one giant division where you kind of have a random schedule of games, and to be in a tier 1 or tier 2 or out of the tournament. I think they overcomplicate it for the purpose of putting more green in their pocket, which tends to happen in the world of professional football, aka soccer, and the rest of sports. They may have fucked it up, the Champions League. I don't have that passion to look at it as much. In the past, it would be, some games that were non-competitive because teams had already advanced. But man, I just don't know if this format works or not. We'll see. And maybe it's just me. I haven't solicited. That's a good word. Solicit feedback on a high level to know what the best, if this is better or not better. But anyway, I'm steering off course and going away from the Baltimore Ravens, taking on the Chargers. The Baltimore Ravens. I don't know why I'm doing it in an Irish accent, but I am. And it's The Harbaugh brothers taking on each other in L.A. in Monday night. And the Baltimore Ravens are 3-point favorites. Chargers look good. The Chargers look good against the Bengals, but there was that second half where things fell apart. They got holes still. Justin Herbert, dug them out of some of those holes. And I don't know if Khalil Mack is going to be back or not. And the Ravens, I think they got to get back on track here. So I'll take the Ravens -3. -3. Baltimore Ravens. Wow. And this is just amazing how the NFL world works, especially when it comes to, the idea of the playoff, like the MVP candidates and Lamar Jackson suddenly, that loss in Pittsburgh. The narrative changes completely. Like, it's one goddamn game. Yes, it's a big game. It's a big game. It's a big shot. Meet the Parents reference. Please watch it if you haven't. One of the greatest movies. What a great comedy. Let's say that. So his MVP, like, he's got to still be the guy, right? I mean, he's got to be the guy, but week over week, and it dictates how we feel about players now. It's insane. Even looking back at the Bears, that already thinking Caleb Williams is a bust. Like, guys, put the brakes on, man. If you decide to draft Caleb Williams first overall, and trade Justin Fields, I got to think you're committed to at least 3 to 4 years of focusing 110% focus on building around and all in on the development of what is supposed to be a franchise quarterback. So I got to hope that the Bears are not going to panic and fuck this up. Just because we have Red Zone, Sunday Ticket, we have analytics at your ass of every sort of movement any player makes quarter by quarter, don't panic and stick to the goddamn plan. And if you've already turned the franchise trajectory and how you're planning out your franchise for the next 5 to 6 years based on that first overall pick, stick to it. And then if it doesn't work out, then you got to turn the ship around and start a new plan. But you cannot pull the chute on your first overall pick this quickly. God, man, I'm just hoping that's a rumor and that's not actually what the Bears would think. So you got to stick with it. And speaking of sticking with it, you got to help us out by joining us on X at Overrated EXPER2. You can even find us on YouTube, by the way, to listen to the podcast. So if check out the YouTube channel. And what else we got going? We got Instagram, and we have Facebook at Overrated Experience Sports Betting, and drop us a line there. Like some of the content we put on there. Instagram, all sorts of stuff. Trying to get out there and put more stuff on there. Give my opinion, especially on X. I don't mind to be challenged on my opinion, but just throw it out there. Let me know that you listen to the podcast and join us. That being said, we got a big week in front of us. We have American Thanksgiving, a la day off, beers, football, maybe chili, maybe pizza. Yeah, no pizza, no carbs. Maybe some steak, maybe a little ring toss in the back in between games. It is an event, a yearly event. Let's go. All right, so the pleasure's all been yours. The Overrated Experience for Week 12 in the NFL is over and out. Bye-bye.